Happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome to the Big T today. My name's Frank Vespi. Stan Salter has a day off today, so I'm sliding in as special guest villain here, joined by track announcer Dave Rodman. And Dave, here at the Big T, we've had a fun meet so far, and yesterday the $75,000 Timonium Distaff was our feature. Looked like it was going to be a cakewalk for Anna's Bandit. Actually turned out to be an exciting horse race.
Yeah, as we said yesterday on the morning show, on paper, you just have to make the check payable to Anna's Bandit, No Guts, No Glory Farm. But had to work a little bit to get by. Past Perfect, was it Past Perfect? Yeah, Sue,
Past Perfect, yes.
who blew away on that turn, on the Ferris wheel turn with a quarter of a mile left to go to open. And here comes the X-Man with all the class for Anna's Bandit to wear her down at the end. And he was a very happy jockey.
Yes, he does love that horse, and they have a special relationship. Got to give a shout out too to Kenny Cox and Past Perfect.
Yeah.
That horse ran a huge race. She looks like a horse they're going to have a little bit of fun with going forward.
Yeah, for gambling purposes, I went with Past Perfect on top being the better price,
Sure.
but really kind of hopefully somebody just pounded it exacta both ways in that race. They seem to be the two sharpest coming into the race.
Absolutely. Turning our attention to Sunday here at the Big T. Dave, we got another picture-perfect day. We got 8 races on tap. We got a $1,047 carryover in the Rainbow Six. So we got a lot of things to talk about. Looking forward to a fun Sunday here. This might be our most interesting card that we've had so far.
And a very Del Mar-ish day, I think. Temperature in the upper 70s, low 80s. Nice little breeze, not too much sun, a few clouds, where the Ferris wheel meets the track.
Yeah,
is what
where
we
the
got.
turf meets the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
I like it.
Uh-huh.
All right, Dave, let's turn our attention to the first race. It's 4 furlongs. It's fillies and mares 3 and up that have never won 2 races. They're at the $5,000 claiming level. They're going a half mile here on the main track. It's also the start of 50-cent pick 3 and 50-cent pick 5 wagering. I went with the 2 here, 15K, but I know you're with Angel by the Sea, although you were just puzzling over why exactly you were with Angel by the Sea.
I had some firm opinions on the card, but this race is a little bit perplexing. I mean, these 4 furlong races, you maybe have to look at who's going to try to make the lead that quick opening quarter mile. And I think Angel by the Sea's last race at Delaware, though, it was 5.5 furlongs. That opening quarter, 22-1, stacked up pretty well. Not too many races to compare that day. The favorites in the race ran 1-2. So chasing that 22-1, which looked pretty favorable, may project her on or near the lead today. For trainer Douglas Nunn, you got the right Sendham rider and J.D. Acosta to take no prisoners up front. So that's the reason I went to Angel by the Sea. I looked long and hard at your pick there, up 15K. But, seeing those mile and the 16th races, mile and 16th, 7 furlongs, gave me a little pause for the cause.
No, you're certainly right, and that horse, the Angel by the Sea, does figure to show speed in this spot, and 15K probably does not. Notable, I thought that her one win was at the shortest distance she ever raced. That was 5.5 furlongs. The other thing I was looking at here, I'm really looking at value, and Angel by the Sea, 8-5 morning line favorite, just ran a buyer of 32, which doesn't exactly scare you off. Looking at 15K, she does have some better efforts on a little bit farther back on the page. Last couple, not so much, but I was kind of hoping maybe third off a little bit of a layoff. Maybe she jumps back up to the level she was at, which would probably be good enough here.
No, I wouldn't argue with you. I wouldn't argue with you. I just relegated her to the end of the tail of the field there in the 4th position. Whimsical Delight. Just saw Jamie Ness. So his first time barn here for Bell Gable Stable. And Jamie Ness or Whimsical Delight. And we both got in the selections here. And there's a horse who's had some good fractions, speaking of early fractions at Delaware back in September. And if she can duplicate that, I think she may be one to shake up the pace up front.
And she's a horse that has not raced in 2019, but has been working really well. I mean, for a filly at the $5,000 level, she's been going pretty fast over the strip at Delaware, which is often a speedy strip, but nevertheless firing a couple of bullets there. So certainly is giving the appearance of a horse that's going to be ready to run her best race, whatever that may be.
Yeah, that 3.443, should the speed projected speed run 1-2, not going to pay much. So that was the angle I used there, the speed of the opening quarter.
And we both also used Grace's Wildcat a little bit with the hot riding Kmart Trotman up. That one,
off the pace type, perhaps, I guess.
this was one of those races. And the horse is sort of pressed or sort of stalked the pace. Probably doesn't have the zip to go with maybe Angel by the Sea. Probably needs to step forward, moving turf to dirt. Not a lot to say about this race.
Yeah,
other
we
than
got
what we've just said.
some bigger fish to fry, including I've got a late pick 5. Did you have a ticket today? I forgot to ask you.
I have not put in a ticket today, so
okay.
we're just going to talk about your pick 5.
All right.
Moving to race 2. Race 2, maiden special weight, $35,000 purse, going 4 furlongs. This is for 2-year-old fillies. This is a fun little group of horses. What'd you do here, Dave? We're all over the place here.
I know. I looked at your picks earlier before I went on the air, and I said, wait, what did I miss? Maybe you know something about Concrete Magic. I mean, there's a few first-time starters thrown in with some horses who have some changes, blinkers on, Lasix. One of them getting blinkers on, number 6, coin operated in here again. Debut run against a much tougher field, I thought, maiden 40 at Laurel. That winner of the race, sticking together, wins by 7. I think that filly may be Maryland Million bound. I mean, she's the kind of filly you might want to see a little bit in the next month or two at Laurel, do some good things, and they probably had some hopes for her. She went off at 8-1 in a tough field, and now adding the blinkers second time out, she's a half to a 4-time winner. Who ran an 80 buyer figure on best day. So there's a little bit of talent there for coin operated in the pedigree and a promising first run against a much tougher group.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't that enthralled. Obviously, what she said is right. This filly ran okay against a better group, but I'd like to see more from her. I landed on the 7, Concrete Magic. She's a daughter of Street Magician out of a very, very productive broad brush mare. 4 of her siblings have earned at least $90,000. One of her siblings won 3 times as a 2-year-old. Phil Schoenthal does not show up with a lot of maiden firsters who are 2-year-olds at Timonium, only 3 times in the last 5 years, but all 3 finished in the money, including a winner. And I felt like this felt to me like a race where a first-timer could get the money, and I wasn't scared off by what I had seen from the horses that had run.
It's a half mile. I mean, her Dam Fixius by Broad Brush, you mentioned, produced some really nice horses. She won 3 races in her career out of 32 starts, was very honest. Was second 10 times, third 10 times.
Right.
So good family there for Concrete Magic. Will she be quick enough here at the Big T for that half-mile dash?
The good news for her, too, I think, is she's breaking outside, so
Yes.
she's not going to have everybody in front of her kicking dirt in her face if she's just a beat slow.
Yeah, if she has some speed, she'll get out in the clear or stay in the clear off the pace, right off it. All right.
Dressed to the 9s is a horse you had second, I had 4th. That's a Hammy Smith horse, a Super 99 filly. They paid real money for her, $45,000.
And not much in the first dam, but the second dam, Scapade, with 4 wins, $306,000 in earnings, was a pretty good horse down in South Florida back in the Calder days. And enticing bullet work. The Super 99s have been running, and they've been running early in the career. Men's Grill Racing, Hammy Smith and Men's Grill, they've teamed up to buy some nice horses. This could be one here, especially sporting that bullet at Laurel, a 101, best of 7, August 21st.
Certainly looks to be ready based on the work pattern, and Hammy Smith and rider Julio Correa have a positive ROI together, an 18% win rate, and that's nothing to sneeze at if you're a bettor. We both used Magical Anna in 3rd. She ran 5th on debut and then ran a little bit better on the grass. Now switches back to the main track. What'd you make of her,
Well,
Dave?
she's going to have to gun and send from the rail. That's probably going to be her MO. Don't know how much speed any of the firsters have and what the blinkers are going to do with coin operated. As you mentioned, your pick maybe on the outside in the clear. And the one, she may have to duel or get some kickback if any of the fillies are faster early in the race.
Also of note there, her siblings combined 0 for 8 as 2-year-olds. Well, including 2 of hers, but
That's not good. But Fast Anna was nice, right? She was a fast horse, right? So Magical Anna, good quarters and half at Parks in the debut, but again, counting on her to gun and send from the inside.
yeah, no, she's going to have to go. We both use the 2-horse a little bit, and that's the one that'll blow up the tote board if it comes in. That's a Start Day Gold for Mike Trombetta. This horse couldn't possibly have hated the going more than she did the last time out. She was
It's
throwing her
right
head.
there.
And,
Yep. Right there in the Equibase comment and the short comment at the far right. Disliked mud. You don't often really see that,
You don't.
in a comment. So good sharp pickup there by Bill and Keith upstairs, doing the notes for you. And if you go back and look at the race, you can probably see it as well.
You can absolutely see it. It's almost comical. I mean, she's just
Okay.
It's a mess.
All right. So anyway, expect improvement. Second out on a fast track today for a start goal. Third out.
Whatever that is. Let's go to the third race. Maiden 25,000, 3 and up going. Once again, 4 furlongs here on the dirt. I think we both land on the 2 here. Egregious, which is an unfortunate name for a horse, meaning outstandingly bad.
Well, I hope that's not that kind of an effort today because it's first time blinkers on the dirt for Egregious. Couple of runs on the turf when adding blinkers. Chased a hot pace 2 back at Pimlico in the spring on the grass. But has come back with some works after a little time away. So it's first time blinkers dirt. That was my only angle here.
I like it.
Well, I mean, you have to have an angle. So there's my angle and the blinkers first time dirt, and of course the works caught your eye too.
Yeah, of course. A couple bullet works coming in. Getting back, this horse's first race was very, very good and would certainly win in this spot. So if he could get back to what he has already shown, he wins here.
He may not be on the lead though, with the likes of say Kukulkan, who's very quick out of the gate, but an 0 for 21 maiden is Kukulkan.
We have, in fact, 2 horses sort of like it. We got Coolman Cletus and Kukulkan. They are a combined 0 for 34, but have been second a combined 14 times.
Right. Well, I'm thinking Kukulkan will try to go. Coolman Cletus will stalk and press, and hopefully Egregious with first-time blinkers on the dirt can sit right off them in for that lowest tag yet, and the promising works.
I like this theory. I like it very much. You want to talk about Trump change?
Do I want to talk about Trump? Oh, Trump change.
Or changing Trump, whichever you prefer.
Brandon McFarland. We're at Narrowleaf Farm. David Baxter had a lot of success with the Narrowleaf horses. And they're all, this horse may be a have to, I forgot to look it up, Frida Trump or one of the other Trump horses they have?
It is. And, the siblings are horses.
So, good works, promising works. Saw Brandon yesterday. I think he was bringing in silks a day early for the horse.
Well,
so maybe
sounds like they're prepared then.
Maybe that's a good sign for Trump change there in debut run. Has the works has a little bit. If it were sloppy today, I certainly like him by Freedom Child, who loves off track. They're off track sires. Certainly the unknown.
Certainly the unknown. Notable on the third race, it's also the start of a 50-cent pick 3 and the 20-cent Rainbow 6. Turning our attention to the fourth, maiden 16s going a half-mile, 2-year-old fillies. And Dave, you go with Brady to Gronk for Anthony Ferrier, a barn that has had good success here at Timonium with first-timers.
Yeah, first-timers, a lot of young first-timers from the Ferrier barn. This is an Arch filly out of Boston Flyer. 6 siblings out of Boston Flyer, all winners, all of them winners, including a horse named Buyer's Remorse, who won $111,000 in the career. So there's some pedigree there, and I like that work. August 18th, 35-1 from the gate. There were 3 horses from the same barn that worked that morning from the gate. Twirling Owen, we'll see tomorrow. Brady to Gronk was in there, as you see, was the middle work of the 3, and another horse called He's Meant to Be, who came back here to win last week.
Correct.
So that's some good company, morning clocking-wise, from the gate that Brady to Gronk has been keeping. First run for this filly from the Ferrier barn.
The Ferrier barn is 4 for 15 when debuting horses in Maiden Claiming Company, and I can't get my earpiece in. But 12 of those 15 have finished in the money. So when he brings horses here in Maiden Claiming Company, they're ready to run as a general rule. I use the 5-horse on top. That's Always Talking, Jerry Robb and the X-Men we were talking about a little bit earlier. This is another one of those horses that I seem to keep landing on that has a decent effort back in its past, needs to get back to that. That particularly good effort was 3 races ago when second at the maiden 25 level at Laurel. 3 out of 6 horses that have run back from that race came back to win their follow-up. So that was a legitimate heat. This one came back and then really ran poorly next out and just okay last week here at the Big T. Needs to take another step forward.
Ran okay until about the 16th pole or close just before that, where she tried to shift into the rail. Lugged in pretty badly there. Maybe a little subtle change today and a week's rest. Rob Barn was cold last week, hopped this week, right? 2 wins yesterday.
Exactly.
And a Rob.
I think you had an angle on that.
The back from Florida angle, or wherever he's been on vacation, right?
It works every time.
Uh-huh.
As we're talking about this 4th race, Dave, I know you've got a pick 5 ticket. Maybe we could get a look at that. It's a 50-cent pick 5.
Yeah, I'm singling today in the 6th race, one of the best races on the card. We've got Yes I Dance, #Selfie, Lonely Drifter in there. Seem to be the principals. I'm going Kieran McGee, the Big T, with a 6 on #Selfies, a single, building around that today, using 3 horses in here because there's a couple unknowns. 3 horses in the 5th, so it's 5, 6, 7 with 2, 3, 7. 6th race single to 6. 7th race just too deep, and in the 8th race going too deep in the 8th, the finale, going that 2-turn mile. So there it is. It's only $18 if my math is correct. And if you want to add another horse here and there and everywhere, it's just going to cost you a little bit more. So if you've got a bigger bankroll today, but I think for a late pick 5 for $18,
I think that's very playable at $18.
If you can get through 4 races, you'll have at least a pleasant afternoon. And if you can get all 5, then you'll have plenty of simulcast money for the late races here at the Grandstand Grill, where we have simulcast action all year long.
Yes, we do. The Spa still going on last weekend at the Spa as well. Anything else you want to say about this 4th race, Dave, or should we just turn to
7,
the 5th?
what do you have? So you picked Emo. I don't think we touched on your pick.
No, always talking. We did talk about.
Oh, okay.
I used Emo. You used Emo. I guess we
Emo.
should talk about
Emo
Emo.
should talk about, out of a double key race, if that means anything to you. 2 winners out of that race, Byring up with a 45 and a 46 off that sloppy track 3rd at Delaware Park. So if you're a key race person, Emo, the 6th, the horse for you at race 4.
I was loving Emo. My one concern about Emo, this horse was a vet scratch subsequent to that good effort. Now he's back. I'm sure he's fine, but you just wonder if there might be there's a reason that happens. So I used the horse underneath, but that kind of scared me out of the top spot. Let's turn to the 5th race. 8,000 claimers. These are 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds and up that have never won 3. They're going 2 turns, 6.5 furlongs. And Dave and I are in accord here on this speedy Jerry Robb train. Hey, it's all about Jerry Robb. Jerry Robb trainee, Zito Rosa.
Zito Rosa. Yeah, very quick. You can see from running lines to the Noble Mission gelding that he's usually first or second in the first 2 calls, first call or second call of the race, turf or dirt. And that's going to suit him just fine here at the Big T, going 6.5. With a sharp break, he looks like the speed of the speed.
That's exactly what I thought. I think this horse goes to the lead, gets loose, and does not come back. You use the 2-horse We Made It as in second. I kind of shuffled that one back to 4th. That's a horse making his second start off a little bit of a break. Has run some pretty good races. Last time, not so good on the turf.
The man, the RSS barn, already with the stakes win at the meet in the coalition there with Clubman. 2 for 2 is the barn at the meet. We Made It. I thought that race behind High Roller, April at Laurel. I know that's a few races back. If you throw out the turf races, the form doesn't look as bad there on We Made It. He'll certainly not be on the pace. He'll come from right off of it there. But the way the barn's going right now, I'm using just about everything they run until we get the memo.
Okay. They're not running well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. That barn is hot. You got to use their horses. We both use the 7-horse. That's Relentless Lion. That's another Donnie Barr horse. This is a horse just landing in a logical spot after, having won at the 12-5, never 2 level, 3 back, lands in a logical $8,000 spot after kind of an even effort last time out at CT.
Yeah, a decent buyer figure, finished 4th, beaten 4 lengths, saving ground with an even kind of finish behind a horse who is a 5-time winner there, Jack Sprindrishi, I guess it is. I don't have to say it today, so I'm not worried about it.
Will not be racing at Timonium today.
Okay, all right.
And then we both also use the one who's one of my favorite names of a horse here, Uncle
Yeah.
Ned Who Drank.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a horse who won last out. This horse never wins. He's 2 for 30 in his career, but has won 2 of his last 9, won last out. The runner-up came back, went to Monmouth, and won his follow-up. So a horse in pretty good form is another one who's going to come from off of it.
Uncle Ned was my favorite uncle, I'll tell you that. He beat a horse named Street Officer last time out who came back to win next start with an improving buyer number of 64. I always look for horses like that, so I'm going to use him in the mix there. But I just think he's not as fast as some of the others, especially early in the stages.
So we both land Zeta Rosa to take them all the way. Head to the 6th race. This is a terrific little race here. Starter allowance, fillies and mares 3 and up. The starter for claiming price of $5,000 or less in 2017, 18, or 19. That is a capacious condition there. A lot of horses can get in under it. They're going 6.5 furlongs. That's 2 turns. You land on the 6, hashtag selfie. I'm on the 7, Lonely Drifter. How do you see this race playing out, Dave?
How do you spell capacious?
Capacious.
Okay, just checking.
Boom goes the dynamite. I might not get a pick right, but I could spell.
Here's my single on the pick 5 today, taking my shot with Kieran the Big T McGee. He's 24%, Kieran McGee, at the Big T the last 5 years. Hasn't run a lot this meet. So the horse likes to win. She likes to win. She's in sharp form. She's shortening up to 6.5 after 1 1/16, which is a race that normally has been, I think, a little beyond her range, her best range. She was very eager that day under Julio Correa. I mean, tugging on the lead. Opening quarter 24, opened up 4, then 6, still tugging at the bit. Had a lot left top of the stretch, got a little weary late as All Good Times was closing in. But she's going to be that sharp. I think she is going to either go to the front or probably stalk, actually, some of the speed in here. Yes, I Dance, I would imagine, would have some early speed as well. Lonely Drifter, how are you going to knock her? I mean, she's won 11 races this year, one of the winningest horses numbers-wise in the country as far as wins in 2019.
No, she's terrific. She's in good form, too. I felt like this was a race with a lot of speed in it, and I was looking at Lonely Drifter as a horse that's going to sit a couple lengths off the speed and make a run.
She will, and so will I think so will hashtag selfie. I think she can, especially shortening up. I know she just took the right of the lead last time out, but that was a 2-turn race at Laurel. Has come back with a good work since. So I think the race is down to your pick and my pick, and we'll see who's going to be right. If you're right, I'm out of the pick 5.
All right, well, then I'll root for you. How's that?
I don't know.
I like your horse a little bit,
Thank
too.
you, sir.
This is a terrific race, so give a look at the 6th race here at the Big T, which is also the start of the final pick 3 of the day on this 8-race card. 7th race, 1 1/16, 3 turns here at Timonium. A second-level allowance for fillies and mares 3 and up. Never won 2 other than maiden claiming her starter. This is a really nice group of horses for this race, Dave. And we came out in a little bit different places here. You land on Moon Virginia, whereas I took She's Quiet.
And I can see your pick, and I can see a lot of picks in here. This is a contentious race. I just went here with Moon Virginia, hoping that she relives some of her better numbers back in the spring, that April race with a big 85 buyer at Laurel on a track that was rated good. Kind of traveled around a little bit, the Mid-Atlantic to Delaware, back to Pimlico, finishing a good second behind one of her rivals today, Aikenetta. They tried her on the synthetics. Not so successful, her only start on the all-weather surface, then on the turf, then back to the dirt, but back of the dirt against a filly that we all know had some promise there in Good One Honey at Laurel Park.
Yeah.
So she's been an off and on kind of mare, but when she's on, she's on. So I hope today the switch is on because she's had a few excuses in the last several.
That's kind of my angle, though. The horse that ran really good 5 races ago might jump back up.
She's quiet?
No, Moon Virginia.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
No, She's Quiet. Here's what I like about She's Quiet. I think people are going to discount her a little bit because of the Charlestown form, but I feel like the Charlestown form translates well to Timonium. But B, the horse she beats last time, Parisian Diva. Parisian Diva is a real racehorse. She comes back. She wins the Sylvia Bishop Memorial for fun. Probably going to the Charlestown Oaks. That's a grade 3 race for her next start. Earlier, Parisian Diva had run kind of neck apart with Please Flatter Me in the Alma North Stakes at Laurel. Please Flatter Me, a very fast filly. That is a good win for She's Quiet. She's about to make her third start off a 3-month break. Feel like that was a sneaky good effort and might be able to replicate that in
If
here.
Moon Virginia doesn't show up, I totally agree. She can win the race. So we're a little bit all over the map here. A common horse, at least in the top 3, and in Victory Rally. No late night powwows in here. No sharp magically discreets in here.
Yeah.
She's a Maryland bred. Against some open company in this spot. She seems to run her best races against those restricted races. She's a stakes winner in the Geisha back in November against restricted company. So I know she's up against non-Maryland breds today, but a mare just like Moon Virginia, who sometimes has been off and on. They've tried a couple of things with blinkers on and blinkers off. Whether they finally took the blinkers off, she put together back-to-back wins, including the stakes back November last year at Laurel.
Also worth noting from that last race, the Twixt, when she was 7th, although beat 7 lengths, that's not a terrible performance against a rough group. The show horse, Karen, came back and won a $75,000 race at Colonial Downs last night.
I didn't see that. That's correct. Yeah, got up just in time under Trevor.
So that looks like it's coming back as a good race. Yeah. So might want to upgrade Victory Rally's performance a little bit.
Okay.
You want to talk about Riva Bell or Aikenetta?
Aikenetta, second off the claim for Jamie Ness, again, out of that Good One Honey race. Chased the pace, but didn't show much lick in the stretch. So maybe he'll figure her out second time. Riva Bell comes from Penn National. Of all the ship-in tracks, so to speak, at Timonium last year, Penn National horses actually had excellent success here at Timonium. I think 6, maybe 7 winners. Last start at Penn, coming to Timonium. She looks like she's got to kind of pick up her numbers a little bit.
That was my take. She has lost at this level 4 straight times up there. 3 of them were against the same horse, so she's been kind of beating her head against the wall. But I think she does need to step forward a little bit. 7th race is a very good race. Check that out. That's also starts the final double of the day. Let us turn, Dave Rodman, to our final race here. Maiden 10s going a mile. These are 3-year-olds and up. Going to go 3 turns here at the Big T.
I was back and forth between Big Rinny and Voodoo Valley, Big Rinny, Voodoo Valley, and learning my lesson yesterday from the Ferris Allen horse going past the Ferris Allen wheel who finished second. Again, I'll take the speed over the closer. And I think Voodoo Valley has enough early foot to stay close here. Good second to Son of a Pony at a 1-turn mile at Laurel. Big Vinny was in the same race. Closed a little bit in that race to finish only a length and a half behind Voodoo Valley. Getting Ashley Castrenzi is riding lights out here at the Big T today. And I think she'll take no prisoners to try to go to the front or stay off of Giant Viking. Number 7, your top pick.
Yeah, I think what you said about Voodoo Valley is right. That was a really good effort last time out. The winner of that race kind of sat off it and then ran on by. Was a 7-5 at post time, dropping from maiden 25 down to 10, so kind of laid over that field. So that was a really good try. I used Giant Viking here. I thought this horse also ran really well last time, just a week ago here at the Big T. And while initially I was concerned on the stretch out from 6.5 to a mile, at the same time as I went back and watched that race, this horse and El Rojo were heads apart the entire way around. El Rojo inch clear late. Nobody else was gaining on them at the end.
Yeah,
they were remaining well clear.
You know I needed that horse last week for sure. Post number 3 last week on a muddy track at the Big T. I didn't think the inside maybe was the place to be. That may have been a little bit of a negative, and part of the reason why he lost to El Rojo was a long-time maiden who I think had a farther outside post. Was the difference
outside
by a neck? They exchanged bumps late, but everything was good. No foul there. So yeah, probably today could be the day for Giant Viking. But I'm going to take a little shot here with Voodoo Valley, a horse that suddenly wakes up at Laurel last time out with a big race at 16-1.
Yeah, no, did run very, very well. We both used the 6 horse a little bit. Big Rennie here. This is a horse that was actually entered yesterday, was 5-2 on the morning line yesterday in the 9th race here at the Big T. Scratches out of that spot for this spot. You might want to take that as a sign.
Yeah, and this was said out of the same race with Voodoo Valley. But again, I don't think they're going to change the running style of Big Rennie much here. Unless the pace is really, really slow and he winds up 4 lengths off the lead. And if that's the case, that may actually hurt him or hurt his chances to kick late. The one, Love the Painter, what did I want to say about that horse? Not much except throw him in the bottom of the triple or the super. Yeah, that would be a big surprise.
And I guess in that same vein, I took the 5 horse underneath, Bold Hunter. This horse has not shown a great deal to date, but does drop to the lowest level. And it's only made 2 starts, so maybe there's a little bit of upside that hasn't yet revealed itself.
All right.
Is our 8
You're
race
right on time, my man. 29 minutes to post time. How about that?
We get you upstairs to do changes.
If we had another race, I'd say, why did you take so long? We're done though. With the 8 race program. Remember, it is 8 races, so we'll start that Rainbow Pick 6 a little bit earlier today with a carryover. What did we say it was? 1,047 race 3.
1,047 and the Pick 6 carryover starting race 3. We got Pick 4. You saw Dave put out a Pick 5 ticket. Might want to get a look at that again. So lots of good stuff going on here on Sunday at the Big T. Dave Rodman, thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you again tomorrow for the final day of racing here on Labor Day to close out the Maryland State Fair Timonium meet. Thanks, Frank.
All right, we are 28 minutes out to post time here. Race 1, Big T, second to last day here at Timonium. Good luck, everybody.
Good luck.